champagne clip that I want y'all to see. Where he was talking about this whole, the do's and the don'ts. And then also I brought this up because, there's some story coming out about him that he was talking about that, he not bisexual, he gay for pay. But he recently, and I had the clip of him on his Instagram where he basically had to tell people, was like, yeah, at the time I was identifying as straight, but you have to realize people evolve over the years, and they can go from I'm straight to I am bisexual or I'm pansexual. People, sexuality and all that stuff evolves. So anyway, let me get to the clip so y'all can watch it, and then we'll come and talk.
Here's why you should not get into the industry. First off, this job is not as easy as you think it is. It's as hard as any other career. You might as well just go with a regular career if you're considering this. This isn't a cop-out. This isn't something you can just do. If you want to just do this on the side, you better have a real job to hold you down, and maybe just do porn to have a little bit of extra spending money on the weekends. Because I'm telling you, if you try to turn this into your full-time job, it will take over your entire life, just like any other career. People lack respect for what I do for a living. You're not going to be able to tell everybody what you do for a living. I put so much work into this job, an unbelievable amount. I've made so many sacrifices for this job, an unbelievable amount. I've done things I'm not comfortable with for this job, and people still don't respect what I do for a living because they just see it at the surface level as being lazy and a cop-out. The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to make $1.2 million this year by being lazy. That's not how that works. In fact, I know a lot of men who are as attractive as me who aren't going to break making $50,000 in a year, and I will make 1.2 million. That's not because I'm lazy. That's because I'm a hard worker. And people will look down on you for doing this career, which is insane to me. Another reason you shouldn't get into this industry is because you're probably not already popular on social media. Don't do this shit if you're not already popular on social media. If you're thinking about doing this as a job, as a career, start posting on Instagram, start building an audience. That's what you need to do. It's boring as fuck, but you have to do it. And don't expect to make thousands of dollars immediately, especially not now when there is a tremendous amount of competition. I've been doing this job for 6 years, and my income still fluctuates tens of thousands of dollars every single month. What's going to happen when you make $5,000 one month, and then all of a sudden the next month you only make $1,000? But you've already quit your main job because you thought you had a future in this. That's what happens to new creators more than often. Another reason you might not want to get into this industry is because you're going to have to do things you're not comfortable with, okay? That's how that works. That is if you want to make the real money, which you probably do. And by that, I mean, I have to take it in my pretty frequently, even though I don't really get any pleasure from that. It's called acting. You better be a good actor if you want to make the real money. If you just want to skirt by and maybe just have a little bit of extra spending money on the weekends, you can do that. But just know that once your content is out there, it's out there forever, and everybody will be able to see your naked body. So I hope that's something you're comfortable with. However, you probably won't have to do anything that'll make you too uncomfortable if you just want a little bit of extra spending money for the weekends. So that works too. I just do get scared for people that, maybe they want a different job someday and their boss finds their news on the internet and doesn't accept them for that reason. I've been in this industry for 6 years. And when I started, I already had 25,000 followers on Instagram. This was 6 years ago. That was a decent bit. I started posting on Instagram when I was 16 years old. I was consistent with it through when I was 18. When I was 18, I tried to do professional porn. That didn't really pay enough. There wasn't enough potential for growth for me in that industry. So I just started to work on my OnlyFans page, and I've been consistent with that ever since then for the most part. Another thing that's tough about this job is breaks are incredibly punishing. You can't really take breaks. So I have 10,500 fans right now paying $10 every single month. If I were to take a break for about a week, I would probably lose 15 to 20% of my income. So good luck getting sick. Some people mitigate this by having posts scheduled. I don't do that because I like making sure all my content is current. That might be stupid, but that's the way I like to run my business because it keeps me on the edge, it keeps me working hard, and it keeps me motivated. And I've noticed if you're posting old content you're not super confident in, it never performs as well as the stuff you are going to be confident in. And I, frankly, am a hardcore perfectionist, and I have OCD about everything I put out. that does help me in my career in many ways, but it also damages me in many ways too. Like I said, if I were to get sick, I'd be fucked. Now, if you're still watching and you're like, hey, I think that I meet all the prerequisites, I'm already kind of popular on social media, I already have a decently large fan base, go for it. All I got to really say at that point is practice. Practice.
Okay, so you pretty much got the whole thing. He was just saying, like, if you want to be a model and you want to get into porn and stuff, it's like, yeah, practice and all the other stuff. So that way you get good at what you do. But nobody say, I think the reason why I also wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people say, like, oh, because he's white and all this other stuff. And yeah, he has those advantages because he white privilege. He's tall, he's skinny, he's muscular, and he has those next door, what is it, those boyish good looks, those next door type of boy next door, I guess is the term. I couldn't even think of it. But yeah, so I totally get why they're saying, like, yeah, it's easier to get that. But here's the thing, when it comes, it's the same thing when I say about Nepo babies. It's easy for you to get through the door, but you have to work 10 times as hard to prove that you deserve to be there. And he has proven why he deserves to be where he needs to be. And this all started because this whole thing came up where he was on social media when somebody posted, he posted, so I got rich off doing gay content creation for a living. And it showed like his bank receipts. And in July 2024, he made $71,391.99. In June, he made $98,444.73, and so on and so forth. So he was talking about it fluctuates. And yeah, it fluctuates because in May he made $122,000. In June he made $98,000. In July he made $71,000. And then the times of like how you can't take time off and all this other stuff because yeah, your income will go down. And so if y'all are real interested in wanting to get in this business, just know it's not easy. And he was saying that, it's like when he was doing it for 6 years back then, it was, but now it's just like every time you turn around, somebody got a damn OnlyFans account. So, and you can't even afford to take a vacation to get sick. I think one of my friends who does adult cinematography was telling me that he can't take a day off. Like if he goes on vacation, he's losing money. So yeah, it's that overall pressure. So, there were some people in the comments that said that he is the best and the hardest working on here. It's so much behind the scenes you guys don't see. One of my favorites I've ever worked with. Was it EJ on Demon Time? Another person put LOL. He's probably a nice guy, but I think bragging about your earnings is incredibly tacky. Well, was he really bragging, or was he just like trying to give people an idea of, what it is, how it is in this business? And then if somebody asked, did you appear naked on OnlyFans making gay pornographic content for money? The answer is yes. Nothing else really matters. You can say, but I'm really asexual in real life. Who cares about all that? You're a hooker whoring yourself out for gay men, and that we can all prove. Okay, whatever, girl. So, we have that. But now I want to get to this other clip where we could finally wrap this up, where he had to address, because in the comments for that article, some people are saying, oh, he's gay for pain. Oh, he's not really gay. He's yet again another straight boy who's jumping into our situation to make money because he can't hack it over in the straight world and the straight porn. And we all know, like, when it comes to, and look, straight guys have been getting into the gay porn thing since before speech replaced sign language. You had many of straight guys who did straight porn who jumped over into the gay porn world because gay porn paid more. And I'm talking about studio porn. I'm not talking about the OnlyFans stuff. Yeah, OF and JFF and all this other stuff. Yeah, you can get all that now. But back then, it used to be when the studios was paying people a hefty coin. A lot of the straight guys would jump over into our stuff because when you look at straight porn, women are the ones, they thrive in that department. Female modeling world and the adult cinematography world, women thrive in that world. The gay porn is something else. So yeah, he's doing things because it's part of acting. He's taking up the butt. Yes, what? I've seen some clips online because, that's, people want to see that. So overall, let's take a trip over to his IG where he talked about that. And
doing gay porn, but I'm not gay and I have a girlfriend. Do I consider that gay baiting? Well, first off, I don't. I'm bisexual, but it's funny because some old tweets of mine have resurfaced from like 5 years ago saying that I was straight because I thought I was. It just took me time to differentiate what I'm romantically interested versus what I'm not romantically interested in. I'm not romantically interested in men. I've never dated a guy. However, I have pretended to before. That might be considered gay baiting a little bit. Sorry for that. But the truth of the matter is, if you're making content with somebody very frequently, everybody says you're dating anyways, even if you say you aren't. And I've never actually dated a guy, despite a lot of people thinking I have. I've always just dated women. That's all I've ever really been interested in actually dating. Of course, I like being physical with guys, but you got to understand at like a certain point is acting and it's for entertainment purposes only. I'm a monogamous person by default. I don't really like hooking up with other people like that. I really only do it for work. At this point with I've been doing this 6 years. I mostly just appreciate the art of it and making, content people like to see. Obviously, I like making money too, right? Who doesn't? You all have jobs. But like I am serious when I say like I just appreciate the art of it. It's I put a lot of work into my body. I work out all the time. I'm on like a strict diet. Like I want to show that off. And I like being a simple person anyway. So it kind of lines up perfectly. And anything that I can do that I can make money like directly off my body, I'm going to be doing it. I just don't see the point of like criticizing something as silly as porn in that way. On Twitter, I've been getting a lot of hate. A lot of people calling me gay baiter. It's porn. Like, who really cares? Do you think straight women in the industry like getting 7 dudes at once? It's just acting. Most of them don't actually like that. They're doing it for a paycheck. You guys understand that, right? Like, I don't mean to sound patronizing, but a lot of people online can just be really naive and get really caught up in the fantasy of porn. Like, yeah, we're trying to put on a fantasy, but even knowing that we're just putting on a show, like you should still be able to enjoy it. And if you can't still enjoy it after knowing that fact, I've said this before, I do think you're pretty immature. Like porn isn't real, it's a fantasy. Understand that, and I think you'll understand why I think gay baiting, calling me a gay baiter anyway, is silly. Anyway, peace out.
Okay, so he said a lot, and my brain is just like, okay, bitch, I'm confused. Now, I get it if he says he's bisexual, but then he's never dated a guy, which is fine because a lot of people, in certain situations, yeah, he's 24, I believe. So, not a lot of people jump into doing all kinds of relationships. He's so invested in doing same sex performances that he hasn't probably had the opportunity to date men, but also he said that he prefers to date women. So they have their things of, okay, I prefer to date women, but I prefer to have sex with men. He's not the first person to say that, where I guess some people just look at men as, okay, I just want to have sex with you and that's it. I guess they just only look at you as any hole is a goal, or I just want to fuck a dude and that's all that you're ever going to get from our situation. But he has plenty of time, like he said before, where he said he was straight acting on, then now he's bisexual. People evolve over the years. So I'm sure by the time he's 30, he probably will date a dude or whatever the case is. But yeah, I just say, like, you know what, I'm gonna take people as they are. Do I think he's a queer baiter? I don't think he is. Now there are plenty of people that jump into our situation and be baiting. And I don't particularly care for that, but there also does that speak to our community where we're so quick to shell out our money to this overall fantasy that we have of some gay men who love being like, oh, I conquered that straight dude, or I was able to sleep with that straight dude, or I turned him out. Like we have those overall attitudes when it comes to those sort of things in that behavior. Like a lot of us come across in that way where it's just like, you ain't nothing until you've been able to conquer that straight dude over there, or whatever the case is. So I do feel like a lot of that plays a factor. So maybe it shouldn't just be us looking at the Timothy Champagnes. We need to look at ourselves and start thinking like, why aren't we investing in those actual gay adult cinematographer performers who put in the work and the effort to make things for us and to satisfy and fulfill our fantasies? Same thing when I say about out musicians. Why aren't y'all out there supporting the gay pop acts this, as hard as you give y'all money to Madonna and Kylie? Why aren't y'all supporting Vincent? Why aren't y'all supporting Jake Shears? Why aren't y'all supporting who else? Cakes the Killer, Duran Bernard, Dames, Mila Jam? Why aren't y'all giving y'all coin titles to those artists instead of just focusing on the straight acting, the people that y'all want to fight hard to get in between their legs and in their butt, as Funky Don Diva would say. So I said, let's say, I know this was a long one because I was just trying to bring all that, like it just resonated with me in regards of like the advice that Raheem was given. And like I said, I'm very excited to see what Raheem is going to bring in regards of this show that he's going to be doing with Willem and give that advice. And the same thing is because I thought about it, I was like, you know what, let me combine his story and Timothy's story because they both was giving advice about the industry, if that's something y'all want to get into, as well as, the recent rumors about him queer baiting and jumping in. So I felt all that just made sense to add all that extra stuff to the gumbo. So I'm curious to hear what y'all got to say. And I'm looking at these comments. I see a lot of people got a lot to say, and I'll get to those in a second. But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.